Ladies and gentlemen of the media, once again, we thank you for honoring our invitation at such short notice. We went for the parliamentary and presidential elections for the year 2020 on the 7th of December. Since results started trickling in, we've been addressing you on various matters that have arose relative to this year's elections. Yesterday, the Electoral Commission held a press conference at which they declared what they described as the results for the 2020 presidential elections. Subsequently, the majority leader in waiting, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, addressed the nation through you yesterday at this very auditorium. It's become necessary for us to address the nation through your highly esteemed platforms once again on issues pertaining to the presidential and parliamentary results as declared by the Electoral Commission and matters arising from same. And to do this address is none other than our courageous, our fearless, our dynamic Chief Executive Officer, the General Secretary of the NDC, the only general in Ghana's politics, Honorable Eei Asiedu Nketia. So let's welcome him with a round of applause. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and good afternoon, countrymen. We have come to a very critical stage of our nation's democratic development. And it is time that conscientious and dutiful citizens of this country must rise and defend the democracy and the country which was won for us through the blood and toil of our forefathers. We in NDC have decided to do just that, nothing more and nothing less. I don't need to go to the antecedents to the now infamous 2020 general elections. We've been through it together. The media has followed us all along the line, carrying our complaints and our reservations up to this stage. Yesterday, just around this time, the Electoral Commission, we picked information that the Electoral Commission was about to declare results when we were fully convinced that they didn't have any results to declare and that they were going to fabricate results and feed the nation to those fabrications. We put together a petition to the Commission expressing our reservations and asking them to call for a meeting at which we could all resolve the outstanding issues to pave way for the declaration of a results that will be acceptable to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, to our utter dismay, they refused our petition. In submitting the petition, we were emboldened by precedents. And the precedent was that was established in the 2008 elections, where MPP, dissatisfied with what results they thought were being collated, petitioned the Peace Council and petitioned the Electoral Commission, whereupon the leadership of the Peace Council brought all representatives of the political parties together, met with the Electoral Commission, and the outstanding issues were resolved, thus paving the way for a declaration of the 2008 results. So in petitioning to the Electoral Commission, we knew we were on firm grounds. We thought that it would be wise to address those issues before a fair declaration could be made. But as almost predictable, we were treated with contempt. The Commission proceeded to do a charade of a results declaration, which put Nana Akufo-Addo, which made Nana Akufo-Addo the president-elect in the 2020 elections. Not long after, we held a press conference to reject the results in its totality. I have come to confirm that we still stand by our original position, and that is to reject the presidential results as declared by the Electoral Commission yesterday. And indeed, immediately after our rejection, the Commission itself, for the first time in the history of this country, had to go back to recalculate the results and have since brought figures to contradict their earlier declaration, which they claim to be the final declaration. So let's ask ourselves, of what value was either the initial declaration or the follow-up declaration? Which of the results should we place value on? The truth of the matter is that none of the two represent the reality. And we want to send notice to them that presidential election results are declared at the polling station, and the primary document is the pink sheet. And if they doubt our resolve, let them know that we have our pink sheets ready.
Thank you.
We are aware of efforts by the national security to belatedly go around to try and manufacture pink sheets to suit the answers that have already been given. Indeed, this is not my first time of saying that Electoral Commission always supplies answers before looking for a formula. That is what they have just done. They have announced the results, and by their own computations, you realize that the sum total of the figures they themselves have given are not consistent with the 100% they have indicated. And they mention one significant precedent, which they failed to live by. He spoke about what happened in 2008 with respect to time. And to refresh your memories, ladies and gentlemen, what happened in time was that the results of time was still outstanding. I believe the second round of the elections did not take place in time at all. And so when the results of all the other constituencies had been put together, NDC, which was in the lead at that time, demanded that the Electoral Commission declared the presidential election results. The response of the commission at that time was that since the number of registered voters in time was more than the difference in votes between the two parties, technically, if elections were held in time and 100% of the people vote one way or the other, it could affect the outcome of the elections. And because of that, they needed to go and do a rerun of time before elections results were declared. Yesterday, as at the time they were declaring, they themselves indicated that Techiman was outstanding. But they misled the nation into thinking that even if the total number of registered voters in Techiman were added to the tally, with one party or the other, it could not affect the results. Ladies and gentlemen, go take the figures they themselves declared and add the total number of registered voters in Techiman, which is 128,000. When this is added to Electoral Commission's own tally, you realize that even if we are to believe their initial declaration, the figures will bring Nana Akufo-Addo below 50%. So the Electoral Commission, again, has tried to pull wool over our eyes. Let them know that they would have to declare the real results of the 2020 election. Further details of the presidential tally will be announced subsequently by the incoming president, John Dramani Mahama, in the evening. But at this stage, I'd like to turn my searchlight to the parliamentary election results. Ladies and gentlemen, we indicated to you yesterday that the Electoral Commission, in cahoot with MPP, having discovered the unpleasant fact that NDC has captured 140 seats out of the 275 seats, was put in a very unpleasant situation. They had some two options. None of it was appealing to them. The first option was to declare faithfully that NDC had won the 140 seats in Parliament, and to declare, in the worst-case scenario, that there should be a runoff. They evaluated that option and realized that with NDC having majority in Parliament, any runoff will be like the 2008 runoff, where every Ghanaian will expect the new president to have a working majority in Parliament. So they ruled that out. Their next option, which they felt was feasible, was to use brute force to try and prevent the declaration of the results of some outstanding constituencies where their own coalitions indicated that NDC had won, and to try and force a declaration in places which they consider were also weak for them to be able to penetrate. Ladies and gentlemen, as of yesterday, we mentioned the case of Adom-Otchere West, where all the results had been collated. The district director and returning officer of the Electoral Commission was ready to do a declaration, and a sitting minister of state invaded the town with armed men, some in military and some in police uniform, wearing thick beard. That was the first time we were discovering that Ghana police allowed copious beard wearing. Maybe my deputy can be the next IGP. So there was a standoff between ordinary citizens determined to protect their ballot, and the declaration could not take place. The armed men led by the minister was insisting that should the returning officer declare the results, he was going to die. And this was a declaration from a minister of state. So, ladies and gentlemen, the returning officer had to be sneaked away from the constituency to Cape Coast, the regional capital, where there was a decision to bring the ballot papers and the results to Cape Coast for declaration. The good citizens of Adom-Otchere West resisted any movement by 1 inch of the electoral materials. So they insisted on their grounds, and the stalemate remained till this morning. This afternoon, the Electoral Commission has eaten a humble pie. And as I speak to you, Adom-Otchere West has been declared as a seat that has been won by the National Democratic Congress. In the following constituencies, Zabzugu, Takwan Suayem, and Sahioso, similar tax managed to overpower the citizens who were determined to protect their votes, and some charade of a declaration has been made without collation. And ladies and gentlemen, the rules of our elections are very, very clear. To prevent any errant electoral officer from standing anywhere to declare anything from his head, the rules are clear that after close of poll, when the pink sheets are compiled, parties are called together at a collation center. So in fact, the law provides for collation agents of political parties who must sit together around the same table with the Electoral Commission returning officer. And the reason why parties are given copies of the pink sheet is that when you come to collation and the figures for any polling station are announced for collation, each party will refer to their copy of the pink sheet. and to confirm that the sheet the commission official is reading from is indeed the genuine sheet that has been compiled and certified by all players at the polling station. This is done with respect to all the polling stations. Because what happens at the collation center is an addition of results that have already been declared at the polling station. So nobody has the right or power to change anything. So all that you do by way of collation is to compare and confirm the figures, and then do the addition, and then everybody will accept the outcomes as the tally representing his or her political party. So without that important exercise of collation, any results that anybody pretends to announce would not be the results of the election that was conducted on December 7th. It will be a figment of their own imagination. And so, we are insisting that the returning officer for Zabzugu Tatale goes back to do the collation as properly required by law, and then NDC would accept whatever outcome that is arrived at. We are demanding, similarly, that the returning officer for Takwa Nsuaim goes back to go through the important exercise of collation and confirmation of the polling station results so that the totals can be acceptable by the political parties, including NDC. We are demanding that the returning officer for Sehuyoso goes back to do the important exercise of collation before results could be announced. We are treading this path, not oblivious of other legal options. But the important thing is that the courts in this country have established that the Electoral Commission cannot be stopped in the course of conducting their elections, not even by the court. And so we are still within the process of the elections, and we are demanding that the electoral officers do their duty to put this nation at ease. Because without a proper declaration, what are you taking to court to challenge? That is why we think that citizens must stand up and insist that the officers who are paid from our taxes actually do the work they are paid to do. And in the case of Savlugu, it went along the same path as Adom-Otchere West. I want to use this platform to congratulate the courageous citizens of Savlugu who stood their ground, defied the military might, and I'm told already one person has been shot dead. But they defied the odds, stood and protected their ballot. And again this afternoon, the will of the masses has eventually prevailed, and Savlugu constituency has been declared as won by the NDC. We are urging the people of Tamale, Techiman South and Sene West to emulate the examples of Upper Adom-Otchere West and Savlugu. They should stand firmly and protect their ballots. Already, 9 people have been gone down in Techiman South. 3 declared dead, and 6 still in critical condition in the hospital. And again, bearded policemen have been set loose in the municipality of Techiman. They are roaming about, shooting sporadically and aimlessly, as if to declare Techiman municipality a war zone. We want to send strong signal to the government that these things cannot be happening on the blind side of Nana Akufo-Addo and his IGP. And let me tell you, yesterday, do you know who called me? The Inspector General of Police, James Opon-Buanu, called me. When I asked, why was he calling me? He said he was calling me because he has noticed that some people he claimed to be supporters of NDC have removed a barricade belonging to the Ghana police and have taken it to the NDC headquarters. And so he is calling me and insisting on the right of the police to enter our headquarters to retrieve a barricade, metal barricade. And I said, since this is not a video call, I don't believe that you are the Opon-Buanu IGP you claim to be. Because I knew Opon-Buanu to be a professional security man, not the type of politician who is speaking to me. And that, since when did he discover that suddenly I am the General Secretary of NDC? When they were shooting 9 people in Techiman, who are our supporters, had he forgotten that I was the General Secretary of NDC? What has he done about it? Ablekuma Central. When all these things were happening, what was he doing? And I said, I don't believe that you are the IGP. You are sounding like a vigilante leader of a political party. And that we, the people of Brown Hafo, are ashamed of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because most of the killings are happening right in your backyard. And you have decided to abandon your profession as a security person. You have forgotten about the crown you are wearing. And you are confused about whether you should follow your conscience or follow your stomach. So he hung up.
The video is ready for the Techiman side.
never to call me again. I tried calling him back this morning when another death had occurred, but he didn't pick. So, ladies and gentlemen, Techiman's staff should stand firm and protect their election results. And to put your hearts at ease, we have all the pink sheets in Techiman's staff. I am told that National Security has sent operatives to now go and try and manufacture pink sheets, bribe people to sign fake documents and so on. Tell them that we have all the material we need. And let them know the same way I went to MIM to retrieve all the personal records of the thief President Kufuor was trying to appoint as a minister before they got destroyed by MPP, and for which reason I was nicknamed General Mosquito. I've done it again, and we have all the pink sheets in Techiman. And I have with us here the MP-elect for Techiman, and it's Christopher Bayere.
Oh, give him your hand.
He has won the Techiman. And then we have our capable election director for Techiman South, Abdul Hamid, otherwise called Bin Laden. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the complete list of pin sheets for Techiman South. After I take my seat, I'll call him to feed in on a few details. So, in Sydney West, at the time of the elections, some thugs from MPP invaded a polling station which is known to be the stronghold of NDC. Snatched the ballot box and were running away with it. This time round, the security people apprehended them and retrieved the ballot box with its contents intact. Unfortunately, they discovered that the MPP guys have themselves torn the MPP seal by leaving the Electoral Commission seal, the official Electoral Commission seal, intact, and the NDC seal intact. Now, when it came to counting, the same MPP people who tried to steal the box in the first place now turn around to say that because the box, there was an attempt to steal the box and their seal had been broken, they are rejecting the votes in that stronghold of NDC. Meanwhile, the box was not opened. The Electoral Commission seal remains intact, and the NDC seal remained intact. So that also generated another standoff, and the box has since been brought to Techima in the Borno East Regional Capital under protection. And I want to congratulate our people in Sene West for their vigilance. They have slept at the armory where the box is being kept. And as I speak to you now, they are still there. Our insistence is that the box must be opened and counted, and the results added to the tally, and the results declared. President Mahama won in that constituency and won at that polling station. That is the reason why MPP suspects that our candidate has also won there, and they foolishly think that they can prevent that box from being counted. We are urging our people on to insist that their votes are counted. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is where we are. Sene West yet to be declared. Techima yet to be declared. Zabzugu, Takwa, Sahuyoso, a charade of declaration without collation, which amounts to nothing. So this is the update I have for you. But I have a small letter to the press too. I personally feel very disappointed. In your role so far played as members of the Fourth Estate. In Banda, when we were single-handedly facing armed military, it took a couple of press cameras to back me to ensure that the right things were done. How many press houses are showing what is happening in Techima? How many press houses are showing what is happening in Sene West? Why have you stopped talking about Takwa, Zabzugu, Sahuyoso, Ablekuma Central, Odododiodio, and the like? Do we still have the press we can be proud of in this country? Are you part of the problem or part of the solution? I am using your own media to call on Metro TV to come and tell her the source of the fake figures they were churning out. Let me use this opportunity to call on Joy FM to come and tell us the source of the figures they were churning out. Which of their reporters took those figures from the field? I'm calling on TV3 to redeem their image. UTV, Peace FM, to redeem your image, or posterity, if there is any blow up in this country, posterity will not forgive you. Ladies and gentlemen, bullets don't discriminate. I must repeat, bullets don't discriminate. So we are in this together. Let us fight to protect the democracy and prevent the country from blowing up because of somebody's greed for power and wealth. Or we have ourselves to blame. I thank you very much, and may God help and bless our homeland.
Please, can you stop the music? Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I forgot one very important announcement. You see, the electorates show their lack of confidence in a particular government by the way they vote out the ministers in that government. This is a show of vote of no confidence in Nana Akufo-Addo's government. Look at the list of key ministers who have fallen. Professor Yanka, a minister for tertiary education and the leader for their flagship free SHS. It's gone. Alima Mahama, minister for local government, and was partly responsible for creation of new regions and making her hometown a regional capital. The people have voted against her. Professor Jambafo, the only representative of the Buzia faction in the Buzia Dankwa fraternity. The people of Wenchi have shown him the exit. I did mention some time ago that if Professor Buzia were to be alive, he would be a card-bearing NDC member. Because I'm from the same district. And I adored him. He was my father's classmate. Indeed, one of my kid brothers is called Yaubuzia. It tells you how close my father was with Professor Buzia. I am the General Secretary of NDC now. And Buzia's district has since been divided into 3 districts: Tai, Banda, and Wenchi. NDC has won all 3 seats. And has won the polling station at Akrobi, which is the birthplace of Professor Buzia. They are telling the Dankwa fraternity that enough is enough. Fisheries Minister, Afolikwe, is gone. Dr. COVID Okoboy, Anthony Cabo. He was going to be a beneficiary, not the dog factory alone, but the Nyantechi scandal. You remember he was listed as a beneficiary. It's gone. Titus Glover. And the Deputy Minister of Defense, Major Derek Odro. Gone. The Deputy Minister of Bron East, who gave instructions to vigilante boys to shoot and kill if it became necessary during the registration, is also gone. And the minister for Bono East of Atebubu fame, Sanja Nanja, has shown him the exit and his back. Honorable Pemka, Deputy Attorney General, Pemka, Deputy Attorney General, has been shown the exit by a widow. So there are several of them. Navrongo, Medina, and Adenta, and all that. I thought Boabia Samoa claimed that if you don't say, excuse my word, foolish things, you can't win elections in MPP. Indeed, he lost elections in MPP, or he won the primaries in MPP, but Ghanaians have indicated that they don't want foolish things to be said by their MP in Parliament. So it's also gone. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the fire is on. The flame that has been lit. Georgianda is also gone. Many of them. And indeed, Nana Akufo-Addo is gone. And so, I want to urge Ghanaians to stand up and defend this democracy. We have the duty. I'm calling on all of us politicians to also show that the nation can take it seriously, to do the right things. Otherwise, the nation will one day reserve the right to clear all the politicians, as our history have shown, and other people will come with weapons. If we demonstrate that we politicians are more interested in weapons, those who are wielding weapons will take over and use the weapons to rule this country. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for the General Secretary. Thank you very much. Let me acknowledge the presence of the national national chairman of the NDC, Honorable Comrade Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo. Let's give him a round of applause. Our two national vice chairmen are also here. Our vice chairperson, Honorable Sherry Aite, is here. And our vice chairperson, Chief Sofo Azoka, is here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's been a lot of talk about Techiman South. Our parliamentary candidate for Techiman South, Honorable Christopher Bere, will say a few words to us about what happened in Techiman South. And he will be supported by his abled elections director, Abdul Hamid. Now, before they speak, I want to remind you of a very important statement the General Secretary made. He said, bullets don't discriminate. At Kaswa, Awutu Senya East, a journalist was shot, and I'm told is in a very critical condition as we speak. And so let's highlight these things. Let's amplify these things. That is the only way you in the media, you who are the fourth estate of the realm, can help us to nip this culture of thuggery and state-sponsored gun violence, which is becoming part of our elections. Now, let us see some video recordings of what transpired at the Constituency Coalition Center in Techiman South. Now, note that never in this country, never in the history of this country, have we seen military men in uniform and bearded policemen wielding sophisticated weapons in constituency coalition centers. But let's just take a look. I hope your cameras will be able to capture that. Some media organizations have been shown this, others have. For those who have, we appreciate you. We are grateful to you. But we would want to once again show you this video. Please, can you play the video now? This is the Chimai South. No, play the first one. Play the next one before you show us the injuries. Can it be enlarged? These are live bullets being fired. Live bullets being fired at a crowd who are not wielding any weapons. Can we see the other video of the injuries and those who died? These are the people they killed as a result of this. All because President Akufo-Addo wants to hang on to power. Elections are about counting hairs and not cutting hairs. Nobody deserves to die on the altar of the selfish political ambitions of a vindictive, wicked leader. But ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to what the parliamentary candidate and the elections director of the Techiman South have for us just in 5 minutes. They will be very brief. The MP-elect for the NDC. Thank you.
The National Chairman and the General Secretary, comrades, ladies and gentlemen of the press. My name is Christopher Beiri. Per the pink sheets we have, I am the MP-elect for Techiman South. I believe the essence of democracy is to select someone who represents the people. And it is usually the majority that carries the day. The people of Techima have spoken through the ballot box. And there's evidence we have, which is in the form of pink sheets. Unfortunately, when we were invited to the collation center, they did not allow us to start the collation. My opponent, who is the MPP candidate and the deputy minister, ordered for military and police reinforcement. And before we could say JAG, we could see the scenes, shooting here and there. I believe that the people of Techima have spoken through democracy by electing me. But the MPP wants to use military. We want to assure the chairman of the party, comrades, that we will stand for democracy. We will stand to protect the interests of Ghana. We will not let military rule prevail. We will fight till the end. I will let the Director of Elections for Techiman South give you some details. Thank you.
Come this way. Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On Monday, the 7th of December, the Electoral Commission conducted elections in this country, of which Techiman South was never an exception. In Techiman South, elections were conducted in 265 traditional polling stations, including or plus 2 other polling stations named the special voting centers. That was done on the 1st of December. So we can say elections were conducted at 267 polling stations. That's for Techiman South. After elections, what happens is that counting is done at the polling station. When counting is done at the polling stations, the results of the various polling stations are brought to the collation center for collation of the individual results to be done. Then, after the collation, results are declared. In Techiman, we had 128,018 eligible voters. Of this, we at our collation point, the National Constituency Election Directorate and the IT Directorate, after our independent collation, realized these figures. There were 101,287 votes, that is total vote cast, 101,287. We had 844 rejected votes, making the valid votes 100,443. Out of these valid votes, the candidate for the NDC, Christopher Beyere Basonti, garnered 50,569, 50569, representing 50.35%. The candidate of the MPP, Honorable Martin Kosa, had 49,874, which represented 49.65%. The voter turnout, percentage turnout, was 79.12%. This is what the NDC Techiman South had at our collation point. I believe the MPPs also had their figure, and the Electoral Commission will also have its figure. Now, how will we know that this is the figure that is correct or wrong? It will only be known after proper collation of results. What do you mean by collation? The Electoral Commission has statement of pool or results declaration sheet, aka pink sheet, for each polling station. And at each polling station, that original of Electoral Commission gives birth to the duplicate which is given to the political parties. So the Electoral Commission will have to sit down, for the parties to also sit down, then we'll do what we call manual collation or tabulation of results from polling station number 1 to polling station number Z. Where we agree, we carry on. Where we don't agree, we resolve. When this one goes on up to the end, then that's what we mean by collation. Results have been collated. It is after this that representatives of parties can now come to sign the declaration form after the returning officer has done same. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing of this, what I've just said here, nothing like this happened at the Techiman South Collation Center. At the Techiman South Collation Center, before we could say, let's sit down to start our collation, there were 5 polling stations that had issues. DAJHS Hansa 1 with polling station code K01-2301B. There was this police station too, Al-Karia Atomic Road, Upper 1, Wangara Line, polling station code K01-1504. There was this police station too, Techiman Senior High Center B, with polling station code K01-0101B. There was another police station, Amiens Primary, another police station, Hansa, DAJHS Hansa B, K01-2301B and 2301A. So these issues around these 5 polling stations had to be resolved. 2 of them bordered on recounting due to alleged overvoting, as claimed by the agents at the polling stations. One of the polling stations, that is Hansa DAJHS 1B, that one had an interesting issue. Interesting in the sense that the Electoral Commission claimed it did not have statement of pool. In other words, it did not have the pink sheet. It did not have the pink sheet because, according to the municipal electoral officer, Samson Ofori Jamfi, the presiding officer for that polling station was harassed, attacked, and dismissed, as a result of which he could not prepare pink sheet. Then, upon investigation, we were told and confirmed that our agent, the NDC agent at that polling station, was similarly attacked and sacked from the polling station. Therefore, if the Electoral Commission did not have pink sheet original, there was no way we could have duplicate, because it is the original that should give birth to the duplicate. Surprisingly, the MPP had pink sheet, duly filled by candidates. And the Electoral Commission again sought to rely on that pink sheet to declare or accept results of that polling station. And this is what we said we were never going to accept. And I still insist, even now, I'm not accepting results of that particular polling station. However, even if results of that polling station are added to the entire coalition, Christopher Bayere remains the MP-elect. Ladies and gentlemen, at the coalition, when Hulabalu started, in fact, at a point when we were going, an MPP representative, whose name I will not mention, came closer to where we were and congratulated some of my men, the IT men, because they had also done their coalition and realized they were losing. At a point, we were hinted from our own intelligence that we should be careful. The MPP and the Electoral Commission was planning something. There and then, we actually had to be smart. Now, for the coalition to be done, the EC officer, the returning officer, Nana Dwamina Frimpa, his deputy, Efa Gordon, these 3 people were in bed with the MPP planning what they were planning. But we were quick to have realized it. On the basis of this, we seriously demanded that coalition should be done, because you cannot do declaration where there is no coalition. After all, what are you declaring? You cannot declare what has not been collated. So we insisted that the regional boss should now come in to do the coalition and declaration, because the municipal officers were playing hide and seek with us. According to the regional boss and his deputy, Mr. Nyame, they were going to tackle an issue relating to Sine West, after which they will now come to us, we will gather our pink sheets, then we will do what we call the proper collation. The Electoral Commission will pick your pink sheet, polling station 1, NDC this, MPP this, rejected this, valid votes, total vote cast, then we continue. Now, before that could happen, the municipal electoral officer, instead of the returning officer, the municipal electoral officer decided that the 5 polling stations that I mentioned, we were to resolve those ones before we go to do what we call the collation. Because those 5 should also form part of the collation. Now, we came and sat down, moved to resolve these problems. After the last polling station, then he ordered his IT man to enter. After mentioning a figure on the pink sheet, enter means enter what I have just mentioned, because it wasn't part of it. Surprisingly, enter brought 2 strong figures, very funny figures. Then the MPP started jubilating. Then the policemen and the military inside went to protect the electoral officers and pointed guns at all NDC to leave the hall. This is what happened. There was no collation. There was no declaration. But a party claims it had won. But interestingly, we have all 267 pink sheets intact. Wow. Again, any document that the EC thinks it can rely on for whatever, I'm telling Samson for Jamfi, we have copies of every original document that he has in his office. We are aware, when the EC went out, when the policemen went out, realizing that those of us inside did not feel intimidated, now they decided to shoot at our supporters, killing 2 of them instantly. Abdullah Ayarik, age 18 years, and Tajuddin Alasan, about 38, 39 years, and another woman died the following day. 9 persons are currently under critical conditions. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the situation in Techiman. As the General Secretary mentioned, Techiman South, we should insist and demand and ensure that our mandate is not stolen. We want to assure the National Democratic Congress across the country that the Techiman South seat will fight it to the letter. As a way of intimidating our people and frightening the NDCs to remain silent, yesterday, the houseboy of our candidate was shot in the leg.
We're looking for pink sheets.
Thinking that the pink sheets will be in that house. I am aware that they are seriously looking for Bin Laden so they can get their pink sheets. I have a very bad news for them. Even if Bin Laden should die today, the pink sheets will continue to be alive and well, and they will carry their evidential value. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for this fantastic elections director. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I have 2 important announcements for you. There are 2 important announcements for you. First of all, you know that we have rejected the presidential results declared by Madam G. Mensah. We stated so yesterday through our minority leader, and we have reiterated it today through our General Secretary, and we still stand by that. We have rejected the results because the results are fundamentally flawed. And later this evening, specifically at 8 p.m., the presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress, who is the president-elect, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will address the nation and speak to issues pertaining to the presidential results declared by the Jim Mensah Bosman-Asare-led Electoral Commission. That's announcement number 1. Announcement number 2 is that the MPP still has parliamentary majority as we speak. The NDC, the National Democratic Congress, is still holding on to its parliamentary majority, as our General Secretary stated. As we speak, we know that we have won 140 seats. 136 of these seats are not in dispute. The 136 seats we have won, which are not in dispute and which cannot change, are as follows. Upper West Region 8, Wa East, Wa West, Wa Central, Nadoli Kalio, Sisala West, DBI, Laura, and Jirapa. In the Upper East Region, we have 14 parliamentary seats out of 15. Bolgatanga Central, Bolgatanga East, Boko Central, Bongo, Biusa North, Biusa South, Chanapaga, Garu, Nabdam, Timpani, Bongo, Talensi, Zibila, and Pusiga. In Northeast, we have 2 parliamentary seats, Bunkrubu and Nalirigo. In the Northern region, we have 9 parliamentary seats, Wulensi, Kumbungu, Pandai, Sabuba, Tamale South, Tamale Central, Tamale North, and Sagnerigo. In the Bono region, we have 6 parliamentary seats, Banda, Doma West, Wenchi, German North, German South, and Tai. In the Eastern region, we have 8 parliamentary seats, Akwetia, Yilo Krobo, Upper Menya, Lower Menya, Asujamai, Ayensuano, Afram Plains North, and Afram Plains South. In the Avo region, we have 2 seats, Asutifi South and Esunafo South. In the Bono East region, out of this 136, we have 7 seats, Kentampo North, Nkranda South, Nkranda North, Sini East, Pru East, Atebubu, and Techima North. In the Western region, we have 8 seats, Jomoro, Elembele, Evaluejura, Prisia Huni Valley, Wasa East, Amenfi Central, Amenfi East, and Amenfi West. In the Western region, we have 6 seats, Awowin, Bia East, Bia West, Bodi, Aboso, and Swaman. In the Greater Accra, the capital of Ghana, the NDC has 20 seats out of 34. We have Adan, we have Sege, we have Ningo Pram Pram, we have Pon Katamanso, Shai Osudoku, Tema East, Ashamai, Krowo, Lejokuku, Odododiodio, Klote Kole, Ladade Kotopon, Ayawasu East, Ayawasu North, Okaikwe North, Madina, Adenta, Ablekuma Central, Ablekuma South, and Domia Braubum. In the Central region, we have 13 seats out of 23. We have Cape Coast North, Cape Coast South, Trifuatimokwa, Gomua East, Awutu Senya West, Gomua West, Edumako, AOB, Ekumfi, Asen North, Agona East, KEA, and Upper Dencha West, declared only today. In Savannah, we have 4 constituencies, Bole, Yape, Kusegu, Salaga South, Sola, Tuna, Kaba, 4. In Ashanti region, we have 4 seats. Some people said they will get 47 over 47, but we have 4. We have Asawasi, we have New Edubiase, we have Edura, and we have Sechafran Plains. In the Volta region, we have 17 out of 18 seats. In the Oti region, where there are 8 constituencies, we have all 8 constituencies. Now, when you add these numbers together, you get 136. But aside this, we have won Techiman South, and we have our pink sheets, and they cannot steal Techiman South. We have won Sene West. We are only telling them that if you think you have won, let us open that outstanding ballot box and count the votes. Why are you injuncting the counting of the outstanding ballots? Let us count it. John Mahama won in the polling station, like General said, and he won in the constituency, and we know we have won that seat. These are 2, in addition to the 136, alone gives us 138. That is all we need for a parliamentary majority. But aside this 138, we won Sehui also, like General said, and we believe we won Takwa. In Sehui also, there was no coalition. No coalition, yet results have been declared. Results have been declared without coalition. Results have been declared when the ballot papers from one polling station have all been destroyed, torn into pieces, including the pink sheets. yet the MPP claim to have won that constituency without coalition. Even in Esikado, it is very clear that we have won that seat. In Takwa, we are asking for re-coalition. And so, for those who are saying that, oh, you started off with 141, why are you saying 138? If we add these other constituencies, including Zabzugu, we have more than 141. But the ones which are not in dispute are 136. The two outstanding which have not been declared, because Techiman South has not been declared. If it has been declared, G. Mensah would have added it to yesterday's declaration. She didn't, on the basis of the fact that it's still being collated. And so the two outstanding, Sene West, Techiman South, our pink sheets show that we have won. And the ones they have stolen, like Sefiyo also, like Takwa, Esikado, and Tano South, and Zabzugo, we are going to contest that. So it is amply clear that the NDC has a clear parliamentary majority. And no amount of guns, no amount of shooting, no amount of intimidation can change that. We salute comrades in Savilugu, we salute comrades in Ablikuma Central for their courage, Upper Dentra West for their courage. And we are counting on comrades, especially in Techiman South and Sene West. Comrades in Sefiyo also Takwa, don't give up. We are with you, and very soon you will see all of us standing with you in the heat of the battle. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to know that we are still holding on to our parliamentary majority. Nobody, it has never happened in this country that you win parliamentary majority and you lose the presidential. And so this should let you know that the presidential election has been stolen, and we are not going to accept that. And our leader, the president-elect, John Dramani Mahama, will be addressing all of us in the nation at 8 p.m. today. Thank you very much for coming. 8 p.m. 8 p.m. We will communicate the venue to you in due course. So the venue is here. I'm told that the venue is here. And so we invite all media houses, both international and local, to be here. Thank you very much, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana. Did you give us some good gospel song?